Okay. Hello, everybody. We are here. Carlos, I went live just now, and I was gonna do like the pre-show with just me talking, just chilling there, waiting for everybody.
Because people don't get enough of you by yourself
Yeah,
talking to the camera all day.
exactly. But you're here, so I was like, all right, perfect.
Yeah,
So we
I was actually gonna run out and grab a drink, but now we're live. All right, we're
no,
doing
no, you can go get a drink. I'll just chill here. You go.
this. No, I was actually just watching the nvda,
Crazy, dude.
bro. I was watching it at like 2x speed. I have to watch that again. Like I have to really watch that again to digest what we're watching here. They hit on everything, man.
I don't even really know what he said, other than their GPU capacity is increasing at a astronomical level.
It's well, yeah. I mean, it's that, but it's more than that. I was looking just now at like what do they call it? Blackwell? What does he call that thing?
Yeah, Blackwell.
Blackwell, like they basically made a GPU with enough throughput that can connect to enough GPUs that allows all those GPUs basically to talk to each other at full speed.
Correct.
Right.
Right.
That's that's a huge, huge jump. A 30 times jump in inference is huge. They also went ahead and validated a lot of other spaces. This is this is a true 1000x in 8 years. Yeah, they did 1000x. He was like, Moore's law doesn't even come close to counting the rate of improvement. I'm just like trying to digest it because I literally just came from there. All that stuff, like they have that one, what's that software suite that they have that connects with the Vision Pro. So now we're really getting into that now, or like that's going to be like an official tool. It's an enterprise tool for these creators. He said programming is dead. He's like, the idea of programming is dead. The humanoid robots was sick.
It was crazy, dude.
There's a lot. Did you watch that, Telly? Did you watch the whole thing?
I saw part of it.
Bro, it's worth watching the whole. I got to go back and watch the whole thing, even at 2x speed, because every time you skip ahead, you're like, whoa, there's even more shit. Very good keynote.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. In general, I think the stock sold off a little bit after hours, but I don't know how you watch that live stream and you aren't excited about what NVIDIA is doing.
It's going to continue to run. But I think you posted something today about Kathy Wood saying that the danger in NVIDIA is becoming the Cisco.
Yeah, I actually have a clip of that. I can play that too.
She's not wrong, but it's 5 years before that happens. You know what I mean? It's not like as an NVIDIA holder, I would not be concerned that that's going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah.
Kathy's like, it's only going to run for 5 more years, and then you're fucked.
So here's
it's over for you.
Well, she's making the point that Cisco had a lot of capital appreciation during the time when everyone was buying all their gear, and then after everyone had all their gear, all the money that was going to them went to the companies that were using their gear. And that's her idea. That's her thing. At a certain point, the multiple is going to go to the companies purchasing these GPUs and the software and services that they make on top of it.
So while we're waiting for everyone, let's just listen to or Vitaly, you do the charts first, then we'll.
Well, I just wanted to show you, and I've been watching this closely. I haven't even changed anything for a long time for NVIDIA, and the only reason it pulled back is because technically it hit its resistance in its longer-term growth trend. If you take a look, it goes back very far, years and years and years. We can go back to the monthly. And NVIDIA's pretty following what it's supposed to be doing. I mean, it has not deviated. I know you guys all think that it's on some crazy run. It has done this all for the last 20 years, okay, or 15 years or whatever. So there's going to be some resistance right now. I don't know if we break through, and it's never broken through in terms of this, but maybe it's different this time and it goes higher and it changes the trajectory. But I would expect sideways movement or down, in fact.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna run. They're actually bringing the goods. That keynote had a lot
of. You think for the next couple of months, there's no sideways chop happening here?
With this, no. I think initially this is going to be a pump. I mean, what he was describing here.
Well, then it has to go past
many different industries.
Well, to break through, it has to break through around $1,020, $1,050, and it has to sustain that in order to break this trend line.
We will see. I mean, watch that keynote. Like you say, if it was sitting at 880 before people knew any of this, you go, there's got to be something built into this because this is stuff they're shipping right now. This is stuff that they have available.
Oh no, I'm bullish on Nvidia. I'm sad I sold it, and don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But
It's like $100.
I wouldn't be surprised if we just went a little bit and consolidated sideways right now.
I agree. I think we've been running a lot.
You'd argue that maybe it's due for
It just went up like 6, 7, 800%. I don't even know from the bottom.
700%. Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, if it doesn't pass $1,000 in the next couple of months, would that be shocking to anybody? I mean, come on, take a break.
Okay, let's listen to Brett Winton. This is ARK's chief futurist on why NVIDIA sucks. Here we go.
Yeah, Evan. All of a sudden, humanoids are a thing, right?
Well, he's wrong about that.
All of a sudden.
Bring ARK Invest chief futurist Brett Winton. Brett, good to have you with us. Have you heard anything out of Jensen Huang so far that changes your mind about the story?
No, but I mean, I think a lot of the panel covered the key issues here. It's clearly an amazing company. I think that there's a lot of demand for AI chips. We think that $14 trillion will be spent on AI software by 2030, and you're going to need trillions of dollars of AI chips per year to power that. And we underwrite that into the stock, and still it's a difficult valuation case to make over the course of the business cycle relative to other opportunities that are out there in the market.
Mm-hmm. How do you think about the sort of halo effect that spending on AI chips will have in terms of broader tech spending? Wedbush had an interesting figure saying that for every dollar they estimate is spent on H100 chips, there's $10 to $12 being spent on software and other sort of parts of the tech ecosystem that you need to make the AI chip work. So what is that sort of trajectory in your view?
Yeah, both on the kind of like powering ecosystem of tooling to have the AI chips work, and on the software that needs to be generating revenue on the back end to justify the capital investment in the AI chips. We think the foundation model layer companies are really profoundly interesting. I think that that's probably a new emerging operating system for computation, and it puts a lot of the tech heavyweights at risk. There was news today that reportedly Google and Apple might team up for Apple to license Google's Gemini model. I think that's a sign that these companies actually don't get that this is a new operating system that's emerging. It's not a feature to layer on top of existing tech platforms.
So he thinks software companies are going to do way better than NVIDIA over the next 5 years, which he'll be right on, I think. But I feel like everything goes back down to NVIDIA.
Oh, no, his point was simply that based on other opportunities out there, there's probably better bets in the market for your money. He's not actually wrong with that.
Yeah.
But because he's starting from right now.
Well, I think it's because we're pulling forward so much revenue in 2026 for NVIDIA's valuation right now that in 2026, if they don't have these numbers, then he's going to be right. A company like maybe a Palantir or a Datadog could produce better numbers. But I don't know, dude. It just feels like if robots become a thing, if Sora really replaces Hollywood, like there's just going to be more GPU demand. I feel like it might overtake it at the end of the day.
Yeah. But his point is, and this goes back to Kathy's point, that yes, NVIDIA can keep making the boatloads of cash, but if there's other companies that are making more money as a result of buying their gear, where are you going to put your multiple? If you every dollar you spend on an NVIDIA GPU is $12 you're spending somewhere else, right? And you want to invest in where the money's going, that's the argument that's being made. But the idea is like this is a rising tide that lifts fucking everything, right?
Yeah.
The problem with ARK, as clearly illustrated, is that there was plenty of upside in NVIDIA. There was plenty of upside in Meta. There's plenty of upside in Microsoft and Amazon. They missed all of this and instead went into shit stocks. So the fact that he's saying this now, yes, he could be right. Maybe NVIDIA is only a double from here or whatever for the next couple of years. But the point is these people have missed a massive run, and I can't trust anything they say anymore.
Well, that is worth mentioning that, yes, from this point forward, there might be other companies that are better investments. But if you're an investment firm looking for the deals, where were you the last 5 years?
Where were you a year ago?
Not
even
this out, right? Especially if you part of your massive bull case of Tesla is the AI play,
right?
And robo-taxis, and right now they're on NVIDIA GPUs. There was a lot of things pointing to this being a potentially good investment for ARK in a disruptive innovation fund.
Okay, so that was the big NVIDIA news, and this picture right here is Kathy basically saying NVIDIA is Cisco.
That's just not true. It's just not true.
Why? Why is it not true?
I mean, because okay, so I feel that we are entering the AI era, okay? And if these tools are going to be real, so let's say movies are disrupted. Not right now, but it takes 5 years, whatever. It takes 5 years or 10 years to disrupt it. As that disruption is happening, you're going to need more of what NVIDIA has because there really is no competition. I do believe Cisco was not the only one, not the only player making that hardware, right? For networking and everything.
Right,
Was that
right.
So they weren't the only one. NVIDIA seems to be really the only one at this scale to produce this hardware and at this fast pace of evolution, plus the fact that they have all these backend systems and CUDA programming. They have these things that are integral to the whole AI system, basically. So even if someone comes up with something better in 5 years from now, it's still going to take time to ramp their product, right? So I don't think it's the same story.
I have a piece that I want to show you guys. I bookmarked this. Actually, I'll just send you the link to it in a minute so you can play the audio.
Okay.
Or actually, let me just do it. Let me just see it.
While you're saying that, one stat that is crazy I saw last night: NVIDIA is still cheaper than Tesla on a forward PE basis, and Tesla's down 30% year to date, and NVIDIA's up
Right.
80% year to date, which is insane, dude. Like,
So check this out. Watch that. All right. So this is from earlier in the.
You know, you guys make GPUs, and we do, but this is what a GPU looks like to me. When somebody says GPU, I see this. 2 years ago, when I saw a GPU, it was the HGX. It was 70 pounds, 35,000 parts. Our GPUs now are 600,000 parts and 3,000 pounds.
3,000.
3,000 pounds. 3,000 pounds. That's kind of like the weight of a, carbon fiber Ferrari. I don't know if that's useful.
No, it's like a mainframe back in the day.
Look,
Everybody's going, I feel it. I feel it. I get it.
So listen to
I get that. Now that you mentioned that, I feel it. I don't know what's 3,000 pounds. Okay, so 3,000 pounds, ton and a half. So it's not quite an elephant. So this is what a DGX looks like. Now let's see what it looks like in operation. Okay, let's imagine, how do we put this to work and what does that mean? Well, if you were to train a GPT model, 1.8 trillion parameter model, peers,
a little bit.
if we were to do it with Hopper, it would probably about 3 months. And that would allow you to train something that is, this groundbreaking AI model. And it's obviously not as expensive as anybody would think, but it's 8,000 GPUs. It's still a lot of money. And so 8,000 GPUs, 15 megawatts. If you were to use Blackwell to do this, it would only take 2,000 GPUs. 2,000 GPUs, same 90 days, but this is the amazing part. Only 4 megawatts of power. So from 15, yeah, that's right.
So he started talking about the power consumption of these GPUs.
yeah,
There's a whole section there. He breaks down how they were able to get it lowered. So this actually, I think, is also bullish for the renewable energies. A lot of complaints that people have about EVs is that there's just not enough. The grid cannot support this, right? So he was talking about one of his GPUs that uses 15 megawatts. 15 megawatts in a year. I think that's all of the energy that my solar panels create in an entire year. And this thing's using this, I don't know if it's a month or year or whatever it is, but that's a lot of fucking power. And so I think that's actually a subtle bullish thing for renewables, because companies that are putting these that are buying this software now have to double, triple, quadruple their energy consumption.
yeah.
So you're pivoting to solar? Nice.
We haven't talked about Enphase in a minute. We should have some Enphase discussion.
This is the thing about this.
I prefer to stay quiet, and then next year when everybody says, as they told us, we're all gonna fucking lose our shirts,
Right.
and things turn around, that's when we'll talk about it, to show everybody we kept quiet, we did our thing, we packed our bags,
You let the
you
bears.
guys waited.
But if you're watching this and you're saying, okay, what else are they going to be spending money on? Obviously, they're going to need some sort of renewables just to even power these things. If one of these things is 15 megawatts, and how many thousands of these things are they selling per quarter? It's just a tremendous amount of energy consumption. It's also,
Well, what did Elon say? I forgot. He talked to the power companies. He said, we need 10x. What did he say? 10x the amount of power?
I think the
4x.
that in 2 years we run out of 2 years. There's no more room in the grid to grow. So they're not at capacity yet.
No, but they said you guys have to ramp up. I forgot it was 4x or 5x or 10x, but he said you need to ramp up the power production in terms of that. So I think to your point, yes, absolutely. We need a way to ramp up power production for all of these tools that we're going to use.
Power is going to be the limiting factor at a certain point, like physical power to these things. But my takeaway from this was that it just touched on so many of our other investments. This was one moment where I felt like it was speaking to things like Enphase, obviously the humanoid robot. This is really good to see, because NVIDIA is now in the in the humanoid robot business. And if you watched at the end when they were doing the demo, they actually demoed Tesla's FSD. They were saying, this is how we're using these neural nets to do this. And it seems like they're not taking Tesla's software like any hidden secrets, but they're doing the same thing. They're like, we're building the GPUs to do this. Let's actually train our own set of GPUs to make these humanoid robots. Again, I think it validates spaces that Tesla was already operating in, and I think people will pay a little more close attention when Tesla has demos or days about these sorts of things. They're not just going to seem like pie in the sky, because now, like, arguably the greatest chip maker in the world is saying this is a direction.
Well, that's what Jensen believes is the next level. He said video, text, now movement. So he's all in on.
And he's been in there with the cars, right? They know how effective it is with the cars. So again, it also lends itself to validate FSD in a way too, that it's not just Elon saying it. It's like he's talking about it. We've used our things to have neural and end-to-end neural nets that are driving cars. We're applying that to vehicles, etc. It's just good to see all of these things helping each other. How it's going to be with financially is the question, right? How's that going to be for these companies financially? Buying all the stuff, when are they going to get the ROI on it, and who's going to emerge the winner? Because this is something where literally you can brute force this thing. Whoever has the most money, whoever has the most GPUs is going to be able to have competitive advantages.
Right. Okay, we have a bunch of topics, but let's go to this one next, because you guys are going to make fun of me, but crypto's crashing right now.
Is this a crash?
You have no idea what a crash is.
Is this
look at that line, dude. Look at it come down.
Why don't you go back like 2 weeks?
No. Why is this stupid shit down?
You go back 2 weeks. I'm just wondering what the price was. I forgot already.
Can you please get this back to 70? Why are we in the 60s? Someone tell me what's going on here.
Wait, why do you want to? I don't understand why you want to go back to the 70s. I just don't get it. You probably don't have enough Bitcoin, so I don't understand.
Yeah, but I have a proxy play that does well when Bitcoin.
Oh, okay.
There's always there in these sorts of parabolic years. There's always pullbacks, and those pullbacks are healthy because that lets relieve some pressure for the cells. It brings in some new people at a higher level that are going to hold because they want the same returns. And so it's good.
All right, but why do you think it's falling is my question. I get it's healthy, and I'm just kidding around, but you think it's liquidation?
It hit 70,000 all-time highs, and if it didn't fall, I would be surprised. If we thought it might actually keep going up, right?
If it didn't fall and went straight to 125,000, I'd probably sell everything because I
sell everything.
That's
if you get that high to even 100, sell everything.
What you want to see is something like this. Look, and during the weekdays, we don't get the inflows that we do during when the ETFs are buying. So this is absolutely completely normal.
First of all, what's 30% of 70K? Because that's what it should do. So if
we're 20K, right?
We should be at $50,000.
Yeah, it should be at 49,000 basically.
I think Bob Lucas too also said like 52,000 possible, something like that.
Yeah, those are the pullbacks. 30% on the way up. You get these 30%.
Yeah, 50 grand
rips up.
And Ethereum should be at around 27 or so, somewhere around there. So that's what we should see.
Ethereum is actually low
compared to. I'm an ETH bull now. ETH bull.
How much ETH do you own?
The shirt is the amount of ETH. The shirt's $20. The shirt's $20, so I own $20.
You haven't even bought any Ethereum? Nothing?
Nah, dude. I've got my play, but it's not Ethereum or it's not Bitcoin.
It's Hood, right? It's still Hood.
Hood. Yep.
Yeah, no, and Hood's gonna do fine.
But see, that's the thing. I need Bitcoin to get to 100K for Hood to really do well, and that's my incentive here. But I also think this halving event coming up is going to be exciting because now the price is dropping. Going into the halving event, it's not at a raging bull market, right? 75, 80K, which I think is good, actually.
This is the most sustainable thing that can happen if it stays below 70 for a couple of months and does not just rush off, because then it can continue its run normally because people took their profits. We saw what the price was, maybe 50K or whatever. Then we can continue the run. Like Carlos said, if it goes up to over 100,000 just straight up, then it's a sell the event, sell everything.
We're over. Yeah,
I think it's over. We're hitting a top. So I think it's better it stops.
If we just look back at like halvings past, I think this one, we'll run up. We'll run up in May. We'll run up around May, and then sell in May, go away. Bitcoin will disappear for a little while. So I think we'll get a really nice local top in May. That's my guess. My thing is we'll see the 100,000 in May or before May, and then we will just settle down.
I don't know if we're going to get that 100,000. I think we're going to chop sideways.
I think so. I think we'll get the 100,000.
Depends if these inflows get higher. Because the reason I think it fell over the weekend was
before May. That's what
I think it was just liquidation from market makers on options expiration, and that's what tanked.
Well, that was it. That was it. Bitcoin doesn't run till everyone's wrecked. It has to wreck the longs, has to wreck the shorts.
Like a million people didn't wake up at 73,000 and were like, I'm going to take profits. Like that was market manipulation, in my opinion. That was
What is this manipulation? Someone dumped. Other people follow. Algorithms follow. I don't understand why everyone thinks everything is market.
No, I think the market forced the leveraged longs or shorts to dump, which then caused the dumping. I don't think it was like Michael Saylor woke up and was like, I'm going to sell, right?
I think you're going to see as this run develops, if this happens, but in the previous bull markets, we would have massive wicks down before it just recovered same day. Now that's pure manipulation, right? Massive wicks. This is a sustained sort of we're trending down now. It's not the same thing.
Let me see where these are weekly. Let me look at the daily.
And either way, like I said, this is good news. So a smart thing to do is to put buy orders now in case you do get a massive wick down and it recovers.
I mean, but
so if you're buying as 50K or whatever, you should just have some Bitcoin to buy at 50K.
It's been 6 days, and within those 6 days of the price falling, one of those days we actually ended green. So it's actually, this is not that big of a deal. I'm looking at it now.
It's down 7% over the past week. It's up 30% over the past month.
Right. So literally, we are talking. I have it down 10.8%. 10.8%. That is freaking nothing.
Yeah.
That is absolutely. And if you just map the same chart data onto previous runs, typically as it's going to run up to the all-time high, you see these pullbacks. So this is normal.
It's actually good for Saylor. He's about to buy another 600 million worth of it. He's going to get it pretty cheap compared to where he bought it before.
Saylor's going to be buying at 200,000.
He doesn't care. He doesn't.
It's not his money. He doesn't give a shit.
No, but the funny thing about Saylor is that it's not his money. The debt issuers gave him the money, and shareholders are allowing him to do this because A, they voted for the strategy, B, they're buying up the stock. So literally, if it all crashes and burns, it's not like an FTX Sam Bankman-Fried thing. He is literally getting all the approval from every party to do this scheme.
Does his company do anything anymore? Like his actual company?
I know they asked.
So do you guys know what MicroStrategy is? Do you guys actually know what it is?
We said we actually do.
Software company, right?
It's business intelligence software. It's like Tableau and like like basic shit that companies would buy to like organize their data. It's like they do 400 million a year. They're growing at like 2% year over year. It's a stupid company. I mean, like there's no point for it to be around anymore. But now, imagine you joined in 2018 as like a software developer, and then by 2020 your compensation, half of it was in options, just went through the roof, right? Because now it's a Bitcoin company.
Now you're gone.
Now you're set for life, dude. Now you're set for life.
You're gone. Why would you? Why would you?
Yeah, you might leave too. Yeah, are you buying the dip on MicroStrategy? It was down 15% today.
No, I'm not buying MicroStrategy. I'm in terms of like overall portfolio, I think I'm heavily leveraged in crypto as it is.
I think we missed the MicroStrategy play, but we are in Bitcoin and Ethereum, so it's all right.
I'm doing okay.
I am looking though at Bitfarms, and CleanSpark I think is going to like 12 or 13. It looks like it wants to roll over a bit, so I'm waiting for that. And I'm in both positions, but I've been watching Bitfarms and I'm listening to their conference call actually. I think they're going to do well.
Do you trust those guys?
I don't trust any crypto anything.
No, but CleanSpark, their management is like, when I listen to them, I'm like, they're actually like, they know what the fuck.
Well, you should listen to the Bitfarms. They seem like rational people. So they seem, but once again,
they just diluted the fuck out of you.
That's where the
days ago.
Well, I mean, they all do that first of all because they have to compete. So they're actually building. I was listening why, and they're building new farms. I forgot, Paraguay or somewhere. They're installing new miners. There are these new miners that they have to buy and upgrade. So these things are important. But so if they're actually upgrading their miners and they're expanding, Bitcoin's going up. How does Bitfarms not do better? I just don't know. They really got to fuck it up to not do better.
Okay. We got to get to this news. This thing was
not a big position, by the way. Just want to make that clear. CleanSpark is a much bigger one.
We talking about Apple and Google now?
Yeah. So I woke up at 4:13 a.m. I randomly woke up. I saw this. I tweeted it, and I went back to bed. But this shit is crazy, dude. So Apple's gonna let potentially Gemini be the default AI model powering iOS 18. And then obviously the iPhone 16. So when you ask Siri to produce an image of a random thing, Gemini would do that, not Apple's LLMs. The question is, does this prove Microsoft is so good that these two $1 trillion companies have to team up together to compete, or does it prove Microsoft screwed because now Apple and Google have the distribution and AI models to basically beat any major competitor?
This sounds like fake news, honestly.
No, I think it's real. I think it's real.
I don't know until Google and Apple come out together in a press release. I don't know if I believe it, because then Apple's handing the keys over to Google.
But no, I think it makes sense. Apple doesn't have any AI. Dude, they just canceled the EVs to focus on AI. They have an event in
So they're
6 months.
focusing on AI by going with Google. That's their focus on AI.
Well, my thing is their event is in July, right? WWDC, so they have to announce something in like 5 months. They need something to say, right? Where they're going to get up. And by the way, in the earnings call I was listening to last night, Tim Cook said, I promise you, we will have a AI announcement this year. He promised investors.
And they're going to say, we're handing this off to Google. That's what they're going to say in their AI event.
I think it's better than not having anything, dude.
I don't know. Look, the one thing about selling out of good companies like Google, you could see what happens. They turn around on a dime. So that's one thing. But this is a bad reason, because until the event is done, I know people are front running it as always in trading, but I don't believe that Apple would want to give away all of this. All this.
Well, they already gave
the
Google
future.
search 20 years ago. They gave Google.
Well, they're not in search. So if there's some sort of, maybe they're white labeling it, as if that might be happening. That's possible.
If this is true, it's bad news for both companies.
Why? Why?
It's not a good look.
I mean, I agree with you, but why do you think it's not a good look?
We'll just start top down. The optics of it. Microsoft is able to do this alone. Okay, fine. OpenAI, separate company. They're integrated in, blah, blah, blah. But they're still, it's all under one umbrella. So this means that Google can't do it alone and needs Apple to push their services to the devices. And it means Apple can't solve the problem. So they need Google to come in and serve their customers. It's very different than making Google like the default browser, right? On the internet. It's very different. It's a different level of partnership that Apple typically doesn't get into. And it would also mean, if you're a tech company, that they're filling in a need for something that you can't do. I think, and I've said it before, that I think markets, including even myself as a person, right, and a small shareholder of Apple, I'm growing. I think my patience is running out with them. And with
really,
and I'd say this for markets too. I think patience is running out for this idea that, oh, Apple has such a history as when they come in late, they always come in with a great product and they take the whole space, or they take a line share. I don't know that Wall Street's giving them, or will continue to give them runway without proving it, because now you're just seeing, after an event like this from nvda today, having an iPhone with a better camera is just not enough to warrant you being one of
it. Shows you how lame it is.
Valuable.
Especially if you're super attractive like me. The 3 megapixels, 20 megapixels, it doesn't matter. Like, I look good.
Right. It can't capture the true depth of your boyish good looks.
100%. So no, see, here's the thing. I think this is bad for Apple, great for Google. Google is just like another place to distribute Gemini, right? Which is the 2 billion iPhones. Apple, though,
they make their own phones too. So what they're saying is like them making their own phones isn't enough. Like they're not reaching enough. It's basically saying they don't have.
No, but I mean, it's like Mr. Beast. He wants to be in Walmart and Target.
This is not the thing.
I don't think Google's getting paid for this too. If I'm gonna make,
I don't think Google's getting paid for this.
I think Google probably said, "Hey, we need to squash these other people. Why don't we partner up? You know, you can use the technology, and we have obviously what we have our previous deal, because the search deal that they had. But either they're paying for it, or it's just there's no money being exchanged in terms of just Google's paying the 20 billion or whatever they're paying every year to keep search and Gemini on the platform."
But why do you think Tim Cook and Sundar Pichai, let's say this is true, why do you think they're doing this? Like, what is the reason?
Well, first of all, I don't think they're doing this yet. So until they say they are, if they were, it's because OpenAI has clearly showed it's winning. Let's put it this way. So it's a better product right now. And I'm not sure why Apple wants, well, it actually makes sense because they're also woke. So I guess they don't need white people in their searches. So
yeah, my joke was that they're only allowing this on black iPhones.
There it is. People are asking about it. This thing's a fucking great product, man. I got to say, this fucking thing is awesome. It's almost 5 years too early.
Well, as a side story, I was just at the Cheesecake Factory again. And I went to the
How many times
store.
do you go a week? Goodness.
Yeah, once a week, once every 2 weeks.
Once a week? Wow.
What's wrong
You
with
need
that?
to own cheesecake stock if you go that much.
Really should.
You know, I missed that time in 2020. I think when it tanked, it went to $15. I was actually considering it, but now it's a little higher, 30, $40. I don't know. But I went to the store and nobody was at this is what time? 7, 8 o'clock. So the Apple store is open. Obviously, there's people there looking at iPhones and iPads. Nobody's standing around the Vision Pros at all. I actually came up to it. I'm like, oh, can I try this on? He's like, oh yeah, but you have 30 minutes. I'm like, no, I'm going to Cheesecake. I'm like, all right, I guess I can't do it now. I'll do it later. He's like, this is great. You're going to put it on. You're going to be like in a movie. It feels great. And it keeps going. I go, look, I totally believe you. I understand, but I'm looking at the price. I was talking to him. I'm like, I'm not going to do it. He's like, oh, but it's like you're in the movie.
He was actually trying to sell you on it. That's so sad.
He just kept pushing after I said, like,
Apple product should sell itself. The employee should.
Oh no, they have heavy pushing now of like, no one comes up to you and just pushes an iPhone on you anymore. Like you're there, right? They are pushing this because nobody was, first of all, standing around that booth, at least in New Jersey, maybe in California, they're all around every booth. I don't know. So it was interesting the way he was trying to push it to me and give me the benefits. I'm like, look, I actually believe you. I agree with you. These are great benefits, but I'm not paying $3,500.
But I have a shit ton of Meta stock, so fuck you.
No, it has nothing to do with that. I just said I'm not paying $3,500. So he goes, yeah, it is kind of expensive.
No, listen, but I gotta tell you. Well, hopefully you guys get to try it. There is.
I tried. He wouldn't let me. He said I need 30 minutes.
Because they do because they're going to run you through like the Apple demo to fit it to you to get it to get you to a sale.
Are you returning it or no, Carlos?
No, I'm not returning it. I actually want to own the first gen of this thing. I think the first gen in a few years will be worth more money than the second gen will when these.
But are you using it enough? Do you think to justify owning it?
I don't think it's possible to use it enough to justify it because the apps aren't there. Like that's really what you're left away with. Is it's an incredibly magical device that's waiting for developers to fully utilize it for what it does. It's great. I'm telling you, it's great. It is. It feels like fucking magic when you're using it. And then after you accept it and you're like, yo, I'm in, then you go to the app store and you're like, yo, I want to download some crazy, like you're ready to spend money, you know?
But you use multiple screens when your workflow. Why aren't you using the Vision Pro and using it as a screen for your multiple tabs?
I tested that. The idea of like, hey, maybe at some point this could be replaced like my desktop.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Connected to like the Mac Studio and just have virtual screens. And you can do that to some extent. And I don't know what people are complaining about, like the resolution. When you bring something really close to the Vision Pro, I'm telling you, you will not know that you're seeing it on a screen. That's been my experience. If I walk up over to like the drum set there and like look at the intricate details of the cables and you're looking at it through the Vision Pro, I'm telling you, if you just opened your eyes, you would not know that you're looking at it through a screen. I don't know what people are complaining about. Even reading my phone, you could easily read your phone. I have astigmatism, and it actually sometimes is clearer and less stress on my eyes to see it through the Vision Pro than it is actually focusing on something at that distance.
So why aren't you editing in it?
Well, because right now it's not like you're basically using it as like secondary display. So you're using your fingers to like drag around. It doesn't make sense. It's not intuitive. The editing paradigm needs to be made where for these hands to be the majority input, and then I think it would work. But for some Photoshop stuff, I could see you playing around with it.
You could probably connect the mouse, Bluetooth mouse. I'm sure would work with it.
You can have it, but then at that point, I don't know that if I'm not completely hands-free and be able, like the dream of that would be that it would amplify my productivity, so I can do 2 or 3 things at once instead of having to be limited to just a click. But they're just not there yet. They're just not there yet. Can you magnify things? What are you saying? Are people asking questions in here?
Yeah, can you zoom into things basically?
Can you magnify? Yes, I think there is a way. But like you can just grab the screen and just pinch. That's actually one of the craziest things is looking through even your own photo library again. And I cannot stress enough how amazing those 3D videos are. It's fucking amazing. You find yourself just whipping that thing out, capturing it at all times. They're really awesome. And even looking through your old library, seeing it's amazing. But that's one of the things that makes you go, I want to see this in a killer application that's only available on this thing. That's going to make me want to use this thing, or get people to say, oh shit, this is the future. Maybe it is something along the lines of what the NVIDIA event was on. I think I posted something on X about it, that the more I go through this, the more I'm feeling like this is really an enterprise device, and seeing demos like what they had for NVIDIA. I think that's what Apple's at least like target market is for right now, is get this into enterprise, because they're the ones that'll pay the money for it. Right. And then the apps will come. So are there any other questions about it? It is it's the future. And I think I would say definitely in 10 years, we're all on some kind of device like that. 5 years, 50-50. and 3 years, we're going to be in that transition.
Well, the interesting thing is maybe Apple realized the car is gone, the Vision Pros are not selling, based on Vitaly's story. So they need
just on Vitaly's anecdotal evidence. No,
I mean, dude, no one talks about it anymore. Like literally no one talks about it. I think it's a dud for Gen 1. So then what's left? Generative AI. And then they were like, well, the LLMs, like they're not going to build a better LLM than Llama, than Grok, than fucking GPT. So they needed something, and that's where Google's Gemini came in.
No, okay. Well, getting to that.
I don't know if they're not going to build a better one. Maybe just they don't. If anything, they don't want to take the time in order.
That's my point. Yeah.
What do you mean? Yeah. But they've already. Listen, guys, they've already done the work. Go right now to your Apple.
Oh, so if they did the work, Siri would be better.
Bro, no.
They did not do the work, dude.
Go to your iPhone right now and send me a voice message using Apple. It will immediately transcribe it underneath.
That's not what we're talking about.
Hold on. I'm getting there. What I'm saying is they've already been developing the technology that they need, this AI technology, and they're releasing bits of it into the current software. This next version, and this was my point about markets, including myself, are getting impatient. This next WWDC needs to be like, here is our AI strategy, introducing the all new Siri that does this. And it's something that we've seen other companies
powered by Google.
No, it has to be, because if you say, hey Siri, I want a picture of a chocolate cake, Apple's not going to come up with that shit. It's going to have to be
okay. Well, you don't know
like
that.
Gemini.
I think we will see, and I think we better.
Someone's 31 minutes late.
Fucking
yeah, Chris, you're late for work, my guy.
I think we need to see.
You want to fix your mic too?
AI strategy. Yeah. We need to see it, and it needs to be on par, if not better, than what we're seeing with the other companies. Or Apple will suffer, and appropriately, because we're seeing too many other companies do too many fantastic things. And the idea of staying in the Apple ecosystem is you don't need to go anywhere else, right? And if you want access to some of these tools, they're asking people to start leaving the Apple ecosystem if they can't provide this. If they do use Gemini, I promise you, it's only going to be for a short time. It'll be a stopgap, and then they'll introduce that they're doing it.
No, dude, if they use Gemini, I don't think that's going to be a stopgap. I think it's going to be a big ass.
No, I think so. Because what they could then do is build your own and then have Google just pay you a fee on, not unlike what they're paying with the browser. Give them something.
It doesn't make sense with all the control they want. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense if they want, because you're right. They're vertically integrated. Why would they do this?
Why would I want,
dude? But I don't think Bloomberg's getting it wrong. Bloomberg got the EV news right. I mean, they have the right sources when it comes to Apple. I don't think they would. Bloomberg doesn't publish shit like this for no reason.
Right. And all I'm saying is that if they do, that's not going to be permanent. Like for the next 10 years, Google Gemini is not going to be running on Apple's hardware.
Yeah, but if Google is given 2 more years of more data of more iPhone users, that gives Google an advantage where Apple might. It's harder for them to compete.
Oh, well, but Apple has that data. Apple has all the data that Google will be getting from Apple. They already have that data.
Chris, your thoughts on Google Apple potential partnership?
I think it's a marriage made in heaven, technically, because I mean, if you think about the benefits to is that now they're going to be pretty much on every single device, right? I mean, you look at the Android app ecosystem, they're going to be on there because they own the ecosystem. Then you have the Apple ecosystem. Now you're also going to be on the Apple ecosystem. So like if you have a cell phone, Google is involved in your life. With regards to Apple, it costs a lot of money to do AI. It's not the easiest and simplest thing to do. Plus you need a lot of training data and all this other stuff. Not that they couldn't get it themselves. They didn't really want it to, but it's just the amount of effort that it would take and the capital that it would take. It would affect Apple's pristine margins. So I think they wanted to preserve those margins. I do think that there is going to be an AI powered iPhone that's going to be launched soon enough. But I was very curious to see this happen only because I thought they would be doing more like AI on the phone rather than trying to do AI via like Google. I don't know. Like we'll see what happens when the actual stuff comes out. But I do have a theory that Apple is trying to do everything it can to create a differentiated product to reignite sales. Because I think their sales slump right now with people extending out the usage of their phones is really impacting their bottom line a lot. A lot of people are saying, oh, they're no longer a growth company. They're losing sales in China, XYZ. So Apple just needs a new like killer product that basically is going to like give them give them a leg up in sales. So I think this tie up with Google does that. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be good for them. I don't think the markets will like that. Even if you think that's the best thing for the company, money's not the problem, and they have the data, dude. They have the data and they have boatloads of cash. So them doing the AI thing, they burn money for years and years and years in R&D for products that are going to come out. So I think that they are working on it. I can imagine that they're not working on it. And if anything, getting rid of the EV division was to move some of those super talented people to help out with the development on the AI. But I can't see how we don't see that next iPhone this June. They can't. They can't wait much longer.
You in charge of motors, building motors. I need you in the AI department.
Okay, is it me, or does Alexa, like, is she different now? Because I've been saying the name, and like instead of her like saying yes or whatever, I've just been getting like a beep. Did you guys get that update or something?
I got
Dude,
rid of my
how much do you guys actually use Alexa every day?
All day, every day. I use it.
I never use this ever. Like
that's because my entire apartment, all my switches, all my lighting.
But what's an example of what do you
everything.
say every day to Alexa?
Turn on the kitchen light. Alexa, turn on kitchen light. Alexa,
So instead of flicking on the light, you tell Alexa
Right,
to
instead
turn
of-
on the kitchen light.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Today I said I
should be.
used today I was making some hash browns. I said, hey, I put them in the air fryer, and I was like, Alexa, let me, remind me in 7 minutes. So then it reminded me in 7 minutes. My wife sometimes will actually get on the Alexa like via her phone and actually, like drop into the Alexa that's sitting right next to my bed. So this way she could wake me up. Today it didn't work, of course. Sorry. I was in New York last week, so my entire like sleep schedule, because I was working during the daytime, has been pretty much thrown off.
what was the time difference?
It wasn't a time difference. It was just the hours got thrown off, because usually I would work overnight and I would sleep during the daytime. Last week I was sleeping during the daytime, and so to readjust, I had to like keep myself awake for a while yesterday, so this way I could actually sleep properly. So,
Dude, I feel like I live in the past. Like I made some brownies over the weekend. I set the timer on the oven. I didn't tell Alexa to like set a timer or anything. Like I don't use Alexa at all.
Such a millennial.
I don't use Alexa at all. I've never used Alexa ever.
I mean, I use it for everything. So, I mean, you gotta like commit and invest in it. Like right now, I have multiple units all over my apartment. Like it's literally everywhere. It's in our bedroom. It's in the second bedroom. It's in our kitchen. So this way, like even my Christmas tree lights, when I had the Christmas tree up, it was the same thing. Just say,
Do you ever
Alexa,
use it
turn
for
on the Christmas tree
information,
lights.
like a historical knowledge or some shit?
Yeah, me and the wife will be arguing about something, and we'll just ask Alexa, to explain shit.
Well,
to
there you go.
us.
You're using Alexa. You're not using Siri for this, right?
No, I use
Dude,
Alexa.
Siri's
Alexa's
fucked. There's no way Siri's catching up.
Remember, it's on his phone,
yeah.
and he still chose to go get a different device. That's how crazy it is.
Well, in the middle of
And
it,
then,
it's like Alexa's in the room.
yeah.
Like, hey,
The other thing is like we listen to music. My wife, if she's cooking, she'll listen to like French Parisian cafe music. So she'll just, say, Alexa, turn on this. My TV is controlled by Alexa. So if I want to, I could turn off the TV remotely. I could turn it on remotely, So
I don't use
you
Alexa.
should, if Rango can come on, someone mentioned that he'd be good to come on right now since he worked at Apple. It would be good to get his take.
Rango, let us know if you're free. We'll send you the link in the chat.
I think more importantly,
Post the link if anybody's available.
One of the things that we should talk about, to be fair, is Boba the dog. Stop talking about that. Commercial real estate. Actually, I was in the city. I met a few people. I got some good information, but commercial real estate is recovering. I think it's a really big opportunity. If we're not like at least looking around right now, that we should be looking. Commercial real estate, especially high class, good real estate, like Class A real estate, is starting to become a lot more pre-pandemic-ish. And the amount of construction that's been going around lately has been woefully underutilized. So there's a huge bifurcation in commercial real estate right now. So what's happening is you've got these older buildings from like the 1950s, 60s, and earlier that basically do not have a lot of the amenities that like these modern buildings do. Like the modern buildings, they have like air purification all throughout the entire thing. They've got what is it called? Pickleball courts. They've got like big rooms. They've got like a modern feel, whereas the older offices have this industrialized feel. And the thing is, like, the media right now is just constantly saying, "Oh, look, office is melting, and it's true for one sector of the market, but the other sector of the market is actually doing really, really well. And leasing rates are starting to get back to pre-pandemic levels, and rents are actually exceeding pre-pandemic levels. So we really should look. And I think Y Combinator, what's his name? Gary Tan actually brought something like this up with Salesforce Tower this week. I don't know if you guys saw that, where like right now, San Francisco has some of the most amount of vacancies, but they're starting to get filled up now. So a lot of new VCs and everything else, they're saying, no, like, we want you back physically on site. So like I said, there's a lot of opportunities in the space that a lot of people are not necessarily looking at. There's a lot of private equity and a lot of financing that's getting actually deals done now. If you did the research 6 months ago, it was hard to get financing on anything. Now there's like financing deals happening all the time now. So a lot of distressed assets are getting bought on 50 cents on the dollar. But the thing is, there's still people willing to basically dump money into the sector, which is pretty much a point where I think there's like capitulation happening, so there's a lot of acceptance. And now I think we're going to have a nice wave higher for the next 5 years. So, ignore this sector at your peril, but I think there's a lot of opportunity.
But is that only New York, or because across the world it's fucked? I mean, there's trillions of dollars. No. What do you mean? Do you think across the world it's not
the
fucked?
People you were talking to, they were talking about New York real estate, or
no? I was looking at everything. So I was talking to someone from CBRE, but basically, outside of the United States, work from home wasn't really that big of a thing. Like, everyone went back to work. It wasn't oh my God, like if you don't allow me to remote work, I'm going to quit my job. And there's actually a lot of places around the world that are frowning upon work from home. So if you're a client, like if you're like client facing like role, people do not like the Zoom shit. They're like, no, I want a physical in-person meeting. Like, you ask the Japanese, hey, do a Zoom call, they'll tell you to go fuck yourself. Like, they're like, a lot of places, they are not fucking around with work from home. Like, it doesn't work for them. So internationally, leasing rates have pretty much been what they are pre-pandemic level for a while now. The US, on the other hand, is a different story. The US, a lot of the workers, because of our tight labor market, had the upper hand, but slowly, with all these layoffs that are happening, the upper hand is slowly being taken away. So right now, the workers are starting to say, hey, I want to work from home. And the employers are saying, no, we're not going to allow it. If you don't want to stay, quit. The other thing is local governments. Like, I don't know if you know this from New Jersey, Vitaly, but, local and city governments, they rely on the tax base and that tax revenue that they get from that local economy. So you've got real estate taxes, but on top of it, you've got like restaurants that rely on these lunchtime workers to basically keep themselves afloat. You look throughout New York City, how many restaurants right now like rely on that consistent lunch crowd in order to survive? So it's almost like incentivizes the local and state governments to provide tax relief, some subsidies here and there to basically keep the employers happy and also bring workers back on site. The financial industry is completely back. Like, I don't know too many people that are working from home in the finance industry. Same thing with probably insurance and things like that. But the tech sector to some degree is still working from home, but they're doing more like hybrid. But if you just go to Google, I mean, we could do a quick search. Look at Rockstar Games, right? Rockstar Games is just a developer of video games. That is one of those jobs that you could theoretically just do from home, right? You don't necessarily need return to office.
The reason I'm asking if it's just New York is because I was listening to a German guy say that there's like 1.2 trillion that's under pressure
Don't believe
to
him.
refinance.
Don't believe him, dude. Don't believe him. I mean, there is pressure, and I'll explain what's going on. Like, even right here, Dell workers can stay remote, but they're not going to get promoted. So basically, all the companies are starting to create like, basically roadblocks from working from home. So it's happening. Even the Treasury and IRS set a 50% return to office target for employees to meet government statewide. So this is actually happening on a whole different level. So that's going to be good. The financing piece, let me explain what's going on with it. You know, commercial real estate, a lot of people were borrowing money very cheaply. Unlike, you know, the housing, we have like 30-year fixed treasury, 30-year fixed mortgages. Commercial real estate doesn't work like that. Most of it is issued via CMBS, which is commercial bonds that are issued out. Most of them are about 5 years. Now, a lot of the owners of that is typically banks and foundations and insurance companies and things like that need consistent yield for a long period of time. Now, during the not great financial crisis, the pandemic, interest rates had gone to all-time lows, which meant CMBS prices were super like speculative at the time. So anything that was issued pre-29, like pre-COVID, had very low interest rates. Now, a lot of those loans are coming due. The thing is, buildings and commercial REITs, they don't pay the thing off. All they do is just keep extending out the loan forever. That's how you make your money. Make money on the spread. You don't make money on paying off the loan. You're leveraging basically that interest rate against the money that you're going to be collecting in rent and the rent escalators, and that's how you make the money. So right now, there's a lot of loans that are coming up for refinancing. And the thing is, according to what people think, they are not going to be able to get a lot of financing done, primarily because the rates are much, much higher. And right now, the regional banks, they've taken a step back and said, look, we need to preserve our capital as much as we can because of the government regulations that you've seen after Silicon Valley Bank collapse and everything else. So the regional banks, which typically were liquidity providers, are not really in the market. So a lot of other things are starting to step up now. So a lot of private funds are starting to step up, like family offices, like large scale investors, but they're stepping up at really, really attractive prices to them, where they get a lot of inbuilt safety, but then they also have like margins that are just crazy. So what's happening is a lot of these buildings, they just need to be something called recapitalized. And that's what's happening in the back end right now. But I think office is starting to recover. Those with premium Class A assets, all they have to do is just weather the storm. And if they weather the storm, on the other side of it, they're going to do exceptionally well. Look at SL Green. SL Green is the largest developer in New York City. That thing went from $20 to what, 50 something right now. And you've been collecting, whoever's in it right now has been collecting dividends every month like crazy.
So everyone who's saying there's trillions of dollars that need to be refinanced and rates are not coming down probably till September now, what is the argument against that not collapsing the commercial real estate sector?
Because there's too many interests in letting it not collapse.
But like what? But if rates don't come down, it has to be refinanced, right?
But
it will be refinanced. They are coming. Well, they are coming down, but more importantly, there are a lot of mechanisms that the industry can pull in order to basically make it through this cycle of increased rates. By the way, we only think that it's increased rates because we're looking at it in last year's perspective, like 2 years ago's perspective. But you think about it, these are normalized rates. Like this is a normal rate cycle. Maybe it could do with maybe a 200 basis points less than what we have today, but this is what it should be. I mean, do you guys remember what it was like getting a mortgage, a 7% mortgage in 2020? Was not oh my God, this is going to kill everyone. That was like, okay, whatever, 7%. That's not bad. It's just we've gotten used to low interest rates. So that's what our entire expectations are built on. But I do think interest rates are going to go down. They're not going to go down back to like what they were, during COVID, of course. But a lot of these assets are really good assets that are cash flowing. And there's opportunities in the sector for sure.
I actually did look up maybe even a couple of weeks ago, Vornado. What was it called? Vornado?
Yeah, Vornado.
NATO?
No, Vornado Realty Trust. Aren't they the biggest in New York City?
Western Values? What?
No, SL Green is, and then number 2 is Vornado with but Vornado has exposure to Chicago and I think San Francisco, whereas SL Green was pure play New York City.
Okay, so your play is REITs on commercial real estate, Chris. That's how you're going to take advantage of this.
Basically. There's other instruments in the in the sector that you can do to give you even more safety and better returns. But yeah, that's essentially the right. And eventually, I think I'm going to be looking at some other things as well. Like this is a multi-year recovery play, basically. So just keep that in mind.
Okay, cool. Think that's it for us. Actually, no, we got 10 minutes. Anything else that's going on? I mean,
I need to watch
Google.
that NVIDIA thing again. Did you watch the NVIDIA?
Oh yeah, Chris. Chris, you probably slept through it, right?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. It's like I had choppy sleep. So all I saw was Jensen came out and then had like those little Disney robots for a little bit. I was like, all right. And then I passed back out.
That was at the end, but he was dropping some knowledge. He was dropping some bombs.
Okay, but it was kind of Carlos, I don't know if you saw the whole thing, but his jokes were not good. I mean,
dude, his jokes were like worse than yours. Seriously.
Yeah, his jokes were bad, dude. I mean, the whole chat with me was just like, dude, these are not funny.
These are bad. But that's fine. I don't need them to be funny.
I mean, yeah, when you're worth 80 billion, you could have some.
Right, because the thing, yeah, when you're worth that much money, everyone laughs at your jokes. He's like, I don't know why everyone at the office always laughs. I'm like,
yeah, dude, imagine you're having, like, you see Jensen and you're at the water cooler or something, and he makes a joke. Like, you're talking to someone who made the company.
Yeah, if he made that stupid joke about the robots or whatever at the water cooler, you'd be dying.
Yeah, it was awkward, and he acknowledged how awkward it was. He was like, "Oh,
yeah,
things don't go as they plan." I was just like, "All right, this is weird."
He's like, "Stupid ChatGPT 4. You don't know jokes."
Did you guys talk about SMCI collapsing? By the way,
it didn't collapse, dude. It's down like 5%.
Was it down 1,000?
It's down 6% today, and then it's down another 3.6, almost 4%.
Oh, you're right. It's down 10% now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the NVIDIA event, I don't want to say it to sell the news, but it wasn't an exciting event. I definitely would walk away thinking, where is that like Vision Pro type of argument? And that wasn't going to be there.
You're insane.
No. So I agree with you. The event was incredible, but the event's not going to make headline news across the world tomorrow. And if it does, it'll be for like 2 hours. It wasn't an iPhone, an iPad, a Vision Pro. There wasn't anything like that, right? It was an advanced GPU that all of us care about as tech investors, but the majority of the world doesn't care.
I don't know. The advanced GPU, even just the wow factor of the robots, that was smart because
no one's going to care.
Get excited about fucking computer in a cabinet, but you see the robot walking around and you go, oh shit.
Yeah, but it wasn't anything that I think gets the market super excited, which is why NVIDIA sold off, and then SMCI sold off, and then AMD sold off as well. Because I mean, the market thought there would be like a huge announcement, which there was, but not like a stock.
They were huge announcements. I think it was probably overhyped because they were actually massive. Like for 2 hours, he dropped massive advancements.
Well, that was the other problem, dude. He was talking way too technical.
Software, I mean, he went through everything, showed you like real examples. Did you see that whole thing where like they basically, if you want to have like the warehouse, the virtual simulation versus the real life thing? Did you see that?
Dude, it was cool, but
for every company they work for, they build a virtual version of that. So they had an example of like a warehouse, and they use that to plan like people's routes throughout things, cars coming in and out, supplies coming in and out, and they can basically have a virtual version of your warehouse on site that they can work from, and it gives them all these great advantages, and the people and their clients can have access to this too. I mean, like this is one announcement after another.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Actually, if someone can double check in the video, I did see that little part with the digital doubles, by the way, and that looked like he had Unity open. So
he might have.
Oh, I mean, if that's the case, and they're working somehow with digital doubles, which will be a big thing.
Let me see.
I did like that, but I couldn't tell. It was a little blurry when I was watching it, so somebody saw that.
Right.
The problem is it was so technical as well that there was institutional investors that didn't know what the hell he was talking about. They knew it's important, but there's not something that people are going to go crazy about tomorrow morning.
Yeah, well, remember Tesla's AI day?
Tesla after the AI day.
The next day.
Okay. He's like, we have humanoid robots, and they're like 10%.
Like, nobody cares.
But when enough of these companies start saying these things, now we've seen Tesla, obviously, Figure. Now they're getting into space. People might start looking and start running some actual numbers and saying, oh shit, maybe this is the solution to the labor force issue, right? And a lot of issues that companies have with unions, et cetera. So how much do these cost? How much do they work? People start running the numbers. They go, oh shit, this is actually pretty deep.
Yeah, it's a developer conference as well. It wasn't an investor conference, but in defense of the investors, on the earnings call I was listening to the other day, NVIDIA said, hey, we'll see you at GTC. This is going to be a big event for investors. So they were hyping it up. It's not like they weren't hyping it up for investors, but at the end of the day, it's a developer conference more than So
I thought it was pretty awesome.
it was awesome.
I want to go back and watch it again and really, because it touches.
Okay, I don't want to watch it again. I wouldn't watch it again.
It touches a lot of industries that we are invested in, and they actually are partnering or loosely partnering with other companies that we talk about. So I think it's important. NVIDIA is a stock that whether you're invested in it or not, it's important.
I agree. Chris, go ahead.
I mean, I don't know, man. I'm not particularly focused on NVIDIA at this point. I'm more concerned right now with inflation reigniting a little bit and pushing us towards a bit of a, I won't say a correction, but a bit of a pullback, and how I'm gonna pretty much ride this pullback, what kind of capital I'm going to be preserving to capitalize on it. Because I mean, this is the thing that's concerning me. If you just want to take a quick look. Okay, you guys remember during June of 23 how everything was really high, expectations were up. I've been keeping a track of WTI, and WTI is starting to get back to like the 80s again. So if we start hitting mid 80s, early 90s, that is not a good sign. That means, and this is before the driving season for the summer actually starts. So this honestly could be one of those years where, you know, where they say sell in May and go away kind of situations.
Yep.
So something that we should be cognizant of. Just we have to be very mindful of what's going on with regards to disinflation. I think the disinflation wave that we were getting hit with in December and January is starting to kind of retrace a little bit, and we're starting to see pockets of inflation return. So it's something that just we have to keep in mind. The talks, I don't know if you guys saw in the CME group's Fed watch tool, but essentially the June cut has been pushed back even further now.
Yep.
So there are a number of rate cuts. You know, if you look at March, we were looking at 6 rate cut. Was it 6 or 5 rate cuts by this year? Now it's down to maybe 2 or 3. So the market,
which makes sense though. The market's doing great. It makes sense that we don't cut so much.
Right. No, I agree. And that's the thing though. The market though, the expectations I feel like are set to that 5 times 5 cuts. So if we don't get 5 cuts, that means that the market's expectations are not going to be met, which means that we could see some downside pressure going into the summer. So
well, how many meetings are left after June?
Let me bring it up 1 second. CME Fed watch tool.
There's like 4 meetings left. One of them is on Wednesday.
Wouldn't it be 4?
No. There's not more than 4. Hold on 1 second.
Wait, no, throughout the year there's more than 4, right? Or am I wrong?
I'm saying after June.
No, there's okay. So there's
4.
There's March, which is coming up, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you've got 6 meetings left. So if we're not going to get a cut in March, and we're not going to get one in May, and if we don't get one in June, then we basically have July, September, November, and December. I'm not sure that July or September are even relevant at this point. Let me just see what the thing is.
July probably not, but I'm agreeing.
With so high.
Dude,
number.
Why is Bitcoin below 66,000? Can someone stop this? Like, this is annoying now.
Yeah.
Fucking
yeah,
Bitcoin.
but look at this. A month.
Gold.
Correct.
That's it. He's turning. Everyone watch.
Yeah, fucking crypto, dumbass piece of
bullshit.
Shit. Can't even hold the fucking thing. Rather buy gold, dude. Fuck this shit.
Gamblers.
So look at this. A month ago, everyone was saying there was going to be like a good 35% and 40% chances of this one has actually 2 rate cuts by 2024. Now it's actually gone down to only 48%. And if you combine these two, so there's a lot more like bearishness in terms of like the rate cuts. So this could negatively impact a lot of businesses actually. So
I think it's good the Fed doesn't have to cut as aggressively because it means the economy is doing well. So it's not good for Tesla and Enphase and regionals. It's not good for any of those 3, to be honest. It's good for other companies.
I'm not so convinced that the economy is that great, to be honest with you. I mean, some of the things that I'm hearing is there are pockets of the economy that are doing exceptionally well, but then there's also a lot of weaknesses around as well. So I don't know. I mean, a lot of this could just be chatter, to be honest with you. But I don't know. I can't say I'm not worried. that we get some sort of a pullback, but it's not going to be anything major unless like oil retraces to like $90. If oil gets to $90, we're going to see October again. If you guys remember October, where we might actually see the possibility of a rate increase again. You know, well, what do you think would happen if we got a rate increase?
We're not getting a rate increase, dude.
It's a red wedding.
If we get a rate increase,
It's a red wedding. Everybody's done. There's no
everything's actually, well, Robinhood would be able to give you a better APY if the rate increases. They would be able to give you 5.5
for all that money.
Maybe that's not the worst.
The reason why I say that is because if you look at the Cleveland Fed's nowcasting, inflation's starting to accelerate back up again. And it's starting to get back to like a serious amount. So right now they're looking at a CPI of about a 3.6 for March. I can't say 100% if it will actually get there, but it's getting up there. Look at this. Look at this trend higher. You know,
well, PPI was hot. PPI was really hot.
Exactly. So then CPI will follow suit.
But PPI and CPI are not enough to take down the market, dude. S&P still hot.
Yeah, okay. If you want to believe that, sure. That's exactly what everyone thought in June of last year too.
No,
Remember
right.
June and July, and then came August, and boom, it was a big ass whoop.
Who was that posted that was like buy damaged companies, not damaged stocks?
Data-driven investing, Chris?
No, it's the other way around. You buy damaged stocks.
Buy damaged. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Hold on. There's something I wanted to say.
That's why we
got Vitaly, are you buying Enphase right now or no? Are you still
not right now because I'm on this whole Bitcoin train.
Okay.
So a lot of money's being diverted to that sort of play this year.
Okay.
But I am looking to double my position, to be honest. So I'm hoping Enphase sticks around, and it probably will for the next year at these prices.
Yeah, for anyone looking for entry prices on Enphase, take a look at this. This right here is one of the core things you need for solar to really take off, which is high natural gas prices, which is not exactly happening right now. Natural gas prices are staying low, and for the foreseeable future, they look like they're going to be hovering between probably this 1.5 and 2.5 amount, unless we get a really cold winter. But you can see here that, you know, it trades in a pretty consistent range, with the exception of the Russian war situation that we had over here. So I personally, until this starts to spike, especially if it gets above 4 or 5, I don't know if there's going to be a lot of demand for solar. So.
Well, I don't think the demand is tied so much to the price of gas, more so than the price of energy and the rates. So, and also EVs. If you have an EV, you're looking at that. So,
well, no, I mean, the thing is, okay, so natural gas is the main feeder stock for electrical generation here in the United States, right? So if we're looking at US as the biggest market, natural gas prices, especially because now we're exporting so much, we're actually able to export that natural gas deflation to Europe, which is another big market for solar. So essentially, the price of electricity is being controlled, and it's actually being moderated down significantly, which means that
you're conflating. Once again, I'm not sure about Europe prices, but I have talked to people in Europe that their rates are going up, as well as mine. So as natural gas prices fall, and you're saying the production is increasing, my rates for electricity have not gone down. They've gone up. And in fact, that's why I'm getting my solar upgraded outside, because it went up 22% this year. I think you're conflating two things. Natural gas might be going down, but the cost to run the business for these utilities is not going down, and they're not going to lower rates on you. Those two things are different.
Well, from what the research that I've done tells me that a lot of this utilities, because they're regulated, right, they have to basically follow the trend. So they were able to capitalize on the higher natural gas prices to go through with an increase in electricity prices to the consumers. The thing is, though, that's no longer the case, so they can't really increase it any further. So right now what they're doing is they're not going to give you any cuts. What they're going to be doing is just taking that money and applying it towards their capital expenses. So, you know, I don't think that electricity prices are going down, but in my opinion, electricity prices that are stable are not good for solar, because a lot of people are just saying, oh, why should I pay all this extra money if my prices are not going up?
It's the rates. I mean, once again, I actually did talk to an installer, Carlos, the one we had on our channel, if you remember him, Solar Bear, but he wasn't a bear about solar. That's his company name.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so how's it going? He's like, no, rates are still the issue for us. And he goes, the cost you'll basically be 1 for 1 right now. So it's not worth it if you're trying to save money. And most people don't care about 1 for 1, even if it's 10 years from now, they want to save money. So he said, we still got to wait for that moment, which is, who knows, a year from now or so.
Yeah. So someone's like from like SoCal, my prices are going up. Bro, you live in California. You have all sorts of weird stuff going on with the government putting its hand in like, oh, you can only do renewables, you can't do fossil fuels, and there's a lot. California is one of the biggest manipulated markets out there. At one point they had subsidies for solar, and then they withdrew the subsidies. Now it's like such a weird freaking thing.
This is why this is what pushes people, because at the end of the day you got to look at solar panels as like Bitcoin mining, right? I'm getting the kilowatt hour. I'm getting it myself. Whatever you want to charge people, whatever you want to cost, whatever your rates are, I'm getting that kilowatt hour just by myself. And so people insulate themselves from the ups and downs of the prices. I'm telling you, I think, and the EV thing does push adoption. I'd say a large percentage of the people that I know that have EVs are like, well, if I got rid of, electricity is cheaper than gas and I can get electricity, why not get the panels, right?
Yeah.
It slowed down though, but once again, it's not the natural gas. I just want to point that out. It was the rates, stupid, basically what you said a year and a half ago, and that was correct, and that's still correct. Until that goes away, I think then the turn happens. This natural gas thing won't stop solar from adopting. It's literally the cost per month. It has to be cheaper than you pay for your utility service. That's it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Guess that's it.
We can leave
big FOMC meeting Wednesday. That'll be the big news this week. And yeah, Lululemon and Nike have earnings this week, so we'll look at those two as well.
Let's go see. All right. I'm out.
Peace.
Thank you everybody for being here. We will see you tomorrow,
same time,
9 p.m. Eastern. Bye, everyone. Have a good one.
Bye. Later.
Good night. And then there was one. Just me. I went live early. I went live earlier for 5 minutes, but then Carlos came. But I like the idea of going live earlier and doing just like a live pre-show. I actually think that's kind of fun. All right. Yeah. Party time. Dude, I haven't gone live with you guys after the Finance Junkie show for a long time. Steve says, oh no. It's actually kind of cool. We did it a while ago, but I haven't done it in so long. I was going to go live earlier before for the first 5 minutes of the show, and then Carlos just joined, and I was like, oh, okay, so Carlos is here. But we got to do one where I'm by myself. Look at this. Living Wage Investor says, you love the sound of your own voice way too much. It's not like you're wrong, but it's not like I love the sound of my own voice. I just love performing. That's all. I love performing. Payne says, please stay. Okay, hold on. Let me show you guys one thing. I was going to show you guys during the show, but I didn't get to show it. So launch the new Twitter account if anyone wants to follow. I teased this a while ago. It's called Wall Street Clues. And it's pretty simple. It's going to be earnings quotes from every earnings call. So if anyone wants to follow that, here it is. I was going to do it during the show, but then we got to talking about commercial real estate because Chris loves talking about commercial real estate. But if anyone wants to follow the account, follow it. The reason I started it is because I listened to like 100 earnings calls this cycle. And I started listening to so many of these fucking calls and reading all these CEOs and what they say. So I was just like, you know what? Let's start an entire Twitter account, basically compiling all those quotes together in one place. So new X account, if anyone wants to follow it, look at this. This is a golden quote from the CFO of Robinhood. Absolutely phenomenal quote. So it's like these gems. I realized, wait a second, there's so many gems in these earnings calls. Like maybe we can create a little account and put all of them in one place. So definitely check that out if anyone wants to see that. Should we stay live for like 5 minutes? Should we stay live? AMIT after dark? Should we stay live? This is actually fun, dude. We haven't done this in like months. This is cool to do with you guys. Love the new background AMIT, loving the grandma doily. So this whole thing is going to change. The reason I got rid of the old one is because it was just too much junk. This is a mess right now. This is just a barren brick wall. I have a lot of ideas for this stuff, but this is going to take a couple of not years, a couple of days to change and make it better. Call Steve Fiorillo. Steve's probably not even going to pick up. Fucking Steve. Steve's let me see if I call him. Let's see if he picks up. Steve got a promotion at work, so he just doesn't he doesn't work with us anymore. Let's see if he picks up. Let's see. For those asking about the Twitter account, I just highlighted it. For those asking about it, Steve.
Hello?
Steve, I'm with 415 people for the Finance Junkies After Hours show. It's only me. The guys aren't here, and you're on speaker.
Okay.
So why did you ditch the podcast that we made you the fifth junkie of?
You're serious?
Yeah, why'd you? Everyone's wondering, dude. You need to. You just left people. You didn't even like, kind of. You just like you just left. Like why'd you break up with us? Why are you laughing, dude? That's a serious thing. Like you just left. Like you gave people your presence and then you dipped. Like that's not nice, bro.
I am shocked that you were calling me, asking me this.
If people want to know, do you want me to tell them, or you can tell? I know the reason, but you can tell them from your dirty little mouth. You can go ahead.
Dude, you're hilarious.
Dude, I know. Like, I'm fucking funny. I wish I coached Jensen on his humor. So that fucking conference, the dude was like, it was crickets, dude. It was bad. It was really bad.
I didn't see any of it. You should do a stand-up routine.
No, I'm gonna do a stand-up routine, dude. I'm convinced I'm going to sell out an arena one day. Even if it's a small, like, little club, I'm gonna do stand-up. Like, I have to do stand-up one day, dude. I have to.
Yeah, I think you should.
The problem with stand-up, though, is it's not like the YouTube version of making jokes. Like stand-up, you have to have like a real routine. It has to be thought out, and the punchlines have to punch. You know, otherwise you just bomb. So it's much harder than YouTube. You know.
I think you'll be okay. I have a feeling you'll be okay.
I have a couple of jokes I've thought of for years, dude. I have a little book I used to write like some stand-up jokes in 2020. But okay, but anyway, why haven't you made the pod? Can you tell people?
Yeah, I'm really busy right now.
Busy with what?
I'm busy with work.
So work is more important to you than Finance Junkies?
Yes. I am sorry.
Interesting. No, it's okay. I just wanted everyone to hear it themselves, you know? They deserve to hear it.
Yeah. But hey, great call on Robinhood.
Yeah, Robinhood's doing well. It's not too bad.
Great call. And I hope that I can say great call on the other thing, which I don't know if you've actually said anything about or not, so I won't say the name, but I am hoping I can really congratulate you on that one.
You talking about Figure?
I don't know if you said it.
Yeah, everyone knows. Everyone knows.
Oh, okay.
Dude,
Yeah,
if Figure gets to like $1 trillion, I'm gonna be fucking rich, dude. But I think I can get there one day.
Listen, I hope that it makes you.
I hope so too. It would be cool. Let me ask you one question that everyone's wondering about. SoFi fell below 7. Any thoughts on? So, are you buying SoFi? What are your thoughts on SoFi?
Yeah, I mean, stocks go up, stocks go down, and nothing has changed. We'll see what happens on, I think they report April 30th, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that Noto's going to deliver, and the short interest is just going to keep going up in earnings, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it trade lower than we currently are.
Okay, I have another question. So Bitcoin's crashing right now. Is there any chance you could like take all that money you're getting from the new job and buy a ton of Bitcoin?
I'm not buying Bitcoin. I could care less about Bitcoin.
Ethereum's at 3,400. Like, it's like really annoying that we were just at 75 and now we're at fucking 66. And yeah, if you could buy up some Bitcoin, I would appreciate it.
Why?
So that it can go back to 75, Steve. Why else would I want you to buy it? Like, are you like what type of question is that?
But let me ask you this: what does it matter?
It matters a lot.
Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's at what? 68.
66.
All right, 66. So it needs to get to 132 to double.
Okay, Steve, I have
Hold on.
I have another play that will do well if Bitcoin gets to
I'm
100.
just saying. I don't know why people care so much about Bitcoin. It needs to go to 132 to double. Like,
Dude, there are people sitting on bags of Bitcoin right now. You don't
and I'm
understand.
happy for them. I am happy for them.
Oh, what do you think about PayPal? It's up like 15% the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, I saw that. I got options that roll off on Friday.
Covered calls?
Yeah, I'm hoping that
Dude, you are so bad at timing the PayPal. Like, it's because every time you like try to get it on the upswing or downswing, it goes the other direction.
yeah, I mean, well, it's actually funny. It worked out because I had covered calls that got really away from me, and I had to roll up and out when the whole shock the world thing happened. And then shares cratered, and I was able to buy those back for pennies on the dollar and write a new set and double dip. And now Friday, I think Friday's the 22nd, that's when those contracts end. And where did it close at today? I haven't really been following the market.
It's like 64, which is good. It hasn't been 64 since January.
Yeah, my strike is 66. So
I think you should be okay. I mean, FOMC is Wednesday. Fed might tank it, you know?
yeah, I mean, I don't really care if I am okay or not. I mean, I'll just roll if I have to. It's not a big deal.
All right. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you have such a new special life that you don't have time for Finance Junkies anymore.
Well, I am actually just kind of vegging out right now because it's been non-fucking stop, which is a good thing.
Vegging out, remind me what that means again? That's a term of art. What does vegging out mean again?
I'm rewatching Succession, something you would not know about.
Wait a second. So you skip Finance Junkies to watch Succession.
I'm laying on the couch watching Succession again, vegging out. Not
Steve, you know, to get somewhere in life, you have to work hard. And I know the podcast is hard work, but you just have to sit there and just like say something for a couple of minutes and that's it. So I just feel it's more productive than Succession. That's all.
Productive, yes, but sometimes Stevie needs to relax because Stevie doesn't relax a lot.
Dude, we just had the weekend. You didn't relax over the weekend?
No, I worked all weekend.
Why are you working? What type of job? Dude, this is ridiculous. Working all over the weekend.
Yeah, dude.
All right. I guess.
In addition to working my real job, I wrote 4 articles. So.
Seeking Alpha. Okay. Oh, let me get a plug to your latest. What's the latest one you put out?
I don't know. I had what came out today? Coca-Cola. Apple comes out tomorrow.
You did a Coca-Cola article?
Yeah, I think I even tweeted at you today.
Oh, I didn't see it. Let me pull it up. I got it right here. It's a strong buy. So you're telling me to buy Coke, is what you're saying.
I mean, if you look at the numbers, it's pretty freaking compelling.
Okay, everyone click on this article so Steve can get some ad revenue. So just give it a click, and that's all we need you to do.
But yes, I like Coca-Cola a lot.
Okay, what did you think about Alex Karp saying people were high on Coke? Did you like it, or did you think it was unprofessional as a CEO?
Well, is it unprofessional? Absolutely. Do we expect anything less? No, not really.
But did you actually feel bad as a shareholder when he said that on CNBC?
I think I'm so desensitized to him right now, it doesn't even matter anymore.
I mean, look, if the stock was at 15, I could understand people getting up mad, but like...
No, I mean, it doesn't matter what price. I mean, like, I just think that he has said so many things that I think a lot of people are desensitized, and it is what it is. It's kind of like Elon, right? He's going to say what he's going to say. There's not going to be a filter. And
yeah, and if the stock is up, it's also like you have more liberty to say that stuff. I wouldn't care whatever price it is, but you know, you can't get that upset if the stock's up.
I wish he didn't say it, but at the same time, I don't like short sellers, so I'm not that angry that he said it type of thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, I'm happy he said it, dude. It was fun media. It was good shit, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, it could go either way. He wasn't talking about another company, which is good. He was talking about short sellers, and most people don't care about short sellers. And he had a valid point. And short sellers like attacking companies to make a quick buck. And, you know, I didn't hate it, but wish he didn't say it, but I'm not that mad at it.
All right.
But why don't you pitch me on something?
Pitch you on what?
Oh, no.
How about I pitch you on joining my podcast that you left after joining? Why don't we do that? Why don't I pitch you on that?
I thought we were just going to make a new podcast every year, do 2 episodes, and leave everybody hanging and see if people caught on.
Okay, what do you want me to pitch you on?
I don't know. You're always looking at new ideas.
Oh, you mean a stock?
Yeah.
I don't have
I'm certainly
them.
not going to pitch me on a movie to watch.
Oh, hold on. So, I was looking on Netflix yesterday for movies to watch last night.
There's not a lot of good stuff on Netflix.
Dude, Netflix should be like a $30 stock with their content. I mean, it's so bad. It's so bad.
So let's talk about this first.
The only reason Netflix is $600 is because for some reason, Love is Blind has the entire world that's single obsessed with these people that can't even see each other that are dating. For some reason, that was a fantastic show idea. And that's what's keeping the company propped up. Otherwise, I think Netflix is dead, dude.
So the problem with Netflix is they have so much stuff on there and there's nothing to watch. And you spend 20 minutes trying to figure it out.
Yes.
And then you go somewhere else.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Like I always end up going back to YouTube to watch something rather than staying on Netflix.
Exactly.
And at this point, I only have Netflix because I don't know when Night Agent and The Recruit season 2s are coming out. Only reason why I have Netflix right now.
Okay, so I should have actually texted you last night. If I wanted to like sit back and watch a really great American film, what's a movie you think I would watch? Or I should watch.
It depends what genre.
I like gambling. I like poker. I like Wall Street.
Okay, stop. You just said you like gambling.
I like the concept of. I mean, I don't actually gamble, but I like the concept.
Go watch Rounders.
I saw Rounders. I'm not that bad. I saw Rounders. I like that. I saw The Gambler with I forgot his name, but in 2014, that guy.
Wahlberg.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg. And I've seen The Departed, but like I've seen 21. But I'm looking for movies like that. I'm looking for movies that really.
Oh, you may like this. I mean, I don't think you'd like The Hustler because that's from the 70s, but The Color of Money you may like.
The Color of Money?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I don't think you can really
1986
not like that movie.
Tom Cruise?
It's really good. If you want to watch a gambling movie, it's really good.
The Color of Money. Okay.
Yeah, it's really
what about Dune?
I don't think that's a gambling movie. I haven't seen it.
Okay. So The Color of Money. Yeah, I really like gambling movies, dude. I like when stuff's on the line and you're like counting cards and like you're at a casino. I like that stuff. That stuff's cool.
Yeah, I mean, Rounders is...
Rounders is epic. Yeah, I love it.
I have a much different love for Rounders because I used to play a lot of cards back in the day, and I remember watching that back when it came out, and it wasn't popular. And it's really interesting how popular it got.
Yeah. You know what I've been learning a lot about over the weekend? I binged so many videos on trading the wheel and cash secured puts and covered calls. I think if you gave me like a test on it, I could legitimately answer every question.
You do a podcast with TJ.
No, I know, but I like legitimately took like 5 hours. I like took my notes out. I started writing shit.
You can't get a better teacher than TJ. Like you should be absorbing everything.
I think that's my plan. If by the end of the year, what I want to happen happens, and I have like some money, I can actually play with, I'm gonna start trading the wheel, and I'm just doing like a lot of paper trading right now. And like trying to do this, and this is what I tell the audience too. I'm like, when people are like, hey, do I get into options? I'll like do paper trading. I've really never done the wheel consistent before, so I'm doing it right now on paper. And like, I think, dude, it makes so much sense understanding the wheel. Like, it really is one of the best ways to not chase gains, but rather strategically be the casino versus the gambler at the casino.
So it makes sense if something doesn't get away from you.
Correct. Correct. Which is why you got to pick the right stock. I mean, obviously, otherwise you're fucked. Yeah.
So, and in all seriousness, I don't know that the wheel makes sense on a tech company.
I agree. 100%. That's why TJ doing it on SoFi makes so much sense, actually.
No. I disagree. I think doing the wheel, and I understand why he's doing it like that and why people do it on stocks like that, because there's really good premiums.
No, forget that. SoFi's range bound, dude. It's been 6.5 to $9. That's the perfect thing you need, and it's under $10. That's another really good.
I got two companies that would probably be excellent for it.
Okay, I'm curious which ones.
Verizon and Altria Group.
Yeah, I think you're right, because you get the dividend on both. So even if you get assigned the shares, that helps the adjusted cost basis. And then Verizon is pretty range bound right now, at least for the past couple months.
Started with a covered call. You buy the shares outright, and you just keep writing covered calls on it. That way, if you own it through the dividend cycle, you get the dividend. And then if the shares get called away, you just write the cash secure puts.
Are you running the wheel on this one?
I'm not running the wheel, but I do have a bunch of dividend stocks that I am selling covered calls on.
But like philosophically, don't you agree that like outside of the portfolio, part of the portfolio where you want to buy and hold, you kind of do need your stocks to do work for you, right? Otherwise, it's like really dead money just sitting there if the stock's not going up.
Yeah, I mean, look, and this is something that TJ and I have talked about. I've talked to some other people about it, and I don't like real estate outside of REITs and my personal residences because I don't want to be a landlord. I don't want to deal with tenants. I don't want to deal with rent. I don't want to deal with repairs. And I look at stocks. My phone's blown up. I should see if it's work. They can wait. Oh, it's not.
Is it your side?
I want to look at stocks and properties in a way.
Yeah.
Where I'm going to own them, but I'm also going to fill them with a tenant, which is the cover call.
Yep. I agree.
And I want them to bring in income. And I'm not doing it on everything because there's certain things that I just don't want to sell them on because of how volatile they are. But there's a lot of them I'm writing covered calls on, and it just makes sense. Like PayPal, for instance, it does not have a dividend, but the premiums are good. And if it gets close, you can roll. SL Green pays me a dividend monthly, and I'm writing monthly contracts on it. And I quadrupled the monthly dividend last month.
Because of the wheel, because of the cover call. So at what age did you start really utilizing the wheel on a substantial amount of your portfolio? Like, was it recent or was it years ago?
2 years ago, maybe.
Okay, did you not do it before because you just didn't know about the wheel?
Options, think about it. I don't think options were really big until couple of years ago.
Oh, you're right.
They've always been there.
Yeah.
But the emphasis really, you got to remember, you're hitting the market at such an amazing time because of the level of information that's out there.
Right.
And I'll tell you that the whole pandemic pulled so much forward with investing and strategies. It's almost like we had 5 years of crowdsourcing pulled forward in like 5 months.
I agree, dude. And I think there's so many channels on YouTube that are talking about the wheel strategy, and you have real examples. I mean, like, I think it makes because I'm thinking, okay, if by the end of the year I have some like real money that I'm sitting on, how can I take that money and turn it into more money, but in a realistic way, not like let me YOLO on some calls because I think there's an asymmetric bet, because I think you can only do that once or twice before, like, you can't just keep getting it right, or at least not me. I don't think I can keep getting it right. I mean, if that's the case, I think the wheel is one of the best ways to really try to get, $5-6 grand a month.
You do know that SPY has daily options, right?
Yeah, but I'm not doing that. I don't even touch weeklies or monthlies. I touch like literally leaps.
About the wheel, right?
I mean,
what better stock than SPY, because it's the freaking market, it's directional, and your time duration isn't monthly. It doesn't even have to be weekly. It could be daily or bi-daily.
Yeah, but isn't 100 shares already 41 grand, 50 grand already? I mean,
That would be true.
But yeah, I get the whole zero expiration, correct? But no, it's right, because I mean, if you can reasonably predict how the SPY is going to perform, but I think of like Palantir. I know that's not the best stock to wheel, but I would love to wheel Palantir, and if my shares get called away, that's okay, because I probably have.
I mean, why
still have
can't
a
you
decent
just
amount.
wheel? Why can't you just wheel a couple hundred shares?
Exactly, that's my point. I wouldn't wheel my entire position. Exactly.
Yeah, you could just take a couple hundred shares and just do it, just to have a vehicle to perfect it on.
V says in the chat, I run the wheel in a bunch of dividend stocks, 6% dividend, and another 5% in covered call premiums. Yeah, dude, I really looked into it. Like, I know I've been listening to TJ and you over the past year, but I really you never really understand until you actually are motivated. And over the weekend, I was like, if you have some money, you need to be making that money work for you. And if you understand a decent amount about the markets and the stocks you're looking at, the wheel is just a substantially unique strategy to generate income outside of just buying and holding,
Well, it's not just that. It's also, if you look at things, and I'm not saying that I'm the smartest. I'm not saying that I have a better strategy than anybody else, because there are people that do much better than me in the market, and there are people that have better strategies than me. But my strategy works for me, and I'm very comfortable in how I do things. And one of the things that I like doing is, with these dividend companies, you can turn a 5 to 9% annualized dividend, depending on what company you're looking at. If you just write a covered call and go, depending on what the premiums are, you can go a quarter out, or you can go 2 quarters out, and make sure that you are covering at least 2 dividends.
Yeah.
You can turn that 5 or 9% yield into 16 to 22 or 24% yields.
Yeah, and that's not this fake whole I'm staking my crypto, I'm getting crazy APY. That's this is a real sustainable way.
Think about Altria Group, right? I've been telling you, watch out for Altria for the past month or 2, right?
Yeah. The cigarette company. Yeah.
So I was telling you, when it got down to under 41, that this is probably a very good opportunity. You're buying it at 9 times current earnings. It was just too low. The dividend yield was 9.8%. It's up to 44, but the premiums are pretty good. The dividends, I think, $3.94 per share. If you write 2 covered calls a year, you can probably generate another $1 on top of that per share in dividend income, or in option income, and add that to the dividend income and turn it into around $5.
Yeah, that's a good idea, dude. Makes a lot of sense.
I mean, and think about this, if you have a couple of companies that you're doing that with, you can put all of that option income into a different stock. So I was putting all that income into PBI, that PIMCO corporate debt ETF I told you about. And that's how I was acquiring shares of that one. Now, that's how I'm acquiring Tesla, as you know, that I'm using the option premium that I'm selling to people, and I'm using their money to buy Tesla, so I don't have to use my own money.
Do you think selling options is degenerate gambling, or no?
I mean,
because I think it's the opposite of gambling.
I think buying options is a form of gambling.
I agree.
Selling options, if you understand what you're doing, is just a vehicle to generate income off of your assets.
I agree. I 100% agree. And if you get assigned the shares that you want and then you sell covered calls against them, it's not really like you're taking a huge loss when you get the shares either.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing, that people don't do enough research and due diligence, and you got to understand what you're doing. Just don't do something because you hear us talking, you hear somebody else talking. You got to understand what you're doing with your money. I never do anything because somebody says it's a good idea. Anything I do, I fully understand to the best of my ability to feel confident in what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's why I researched the wheel strategy by myself over the weekend, because obviously I heard all you guys talking about it, but once I finally researched it, and I was like, holy shit, this makes so much sense. This is a way to really make sustainable money in the market if you know what you're doing. It made a lot more sense.
Yeah, I mean, so take SoFi, for instance. It's at around $7, $700 for 100 shares. you sell a 650 put, you generate income, you lock it up on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, and then you start building an income position. If your shares get assigned, you flip it, you start selling calls at $7, and you just keep going back and forth. I mean, not the worst idea. And eventually, you may even own the shares for free. Yeah, I think that's something that people don't necessarily think about. Like, if you stick with it for a long time, you can eventually have a $0 cost basis.
Yeah, I'm looking at SoFi selling the put expiring April 19th. I would get for 650, the strike you said, I would get 18 cents. So if you sold like 50 contracts of that, you would get $900. You would have to put up 32,000 in collateral, and that's 32 days out. And then if you get it at 650, I mean, that's not a horrible price if you know what SoFi is. If you don't understand it, then 650 might be too much, too little, but understanding it makes sense. And then you sell covered calls against it, and your adjusted cost basis could get, in the very low sixes. And so with a stock like SoFi, I think it makes a lot of sense. Same thing with Palantir. Same thing with, like, I've even seen people do it on Apple and Amazon, because those are pretty range bound as well. Apple 168 to 174-ish, So I think there's a lot of opportunity, but there needs to be some capital to work with first.
Yeah, and look, I'm a very big believer in, it's one thing to paper trade and understand it, but in order to really have it ingrained, you got to use real money.
Yeah, agreed.
And you always want to start small. Like, whenever I was starting out doing this, I wasn't using a lot of money. I was using money where if I fucked it up, didn't matter.
Yeah.
So I really got a feel for what I was doing. Like, I still remember the first options I wrote. Like, that was something where I just learned it, and I don't even know. I think it was through some Google searches that I started looking at how to generate additional income from your stocks. I'd say the first options I wrote like 6-7 years ago, something like that. But during the pandemic, so much information came out there, and I started looking at puts and piecing everything together. So some people doing the wheel strategy, and
dude, really I legitimately think, like, not everyone who's listening and watching right now is the best software engineer. Not everyone is the best athlete. Not everyone is the best whatever at your job. Everyone can learn covered calls and cash secured puts. And then everyone can learn how to do due diligence. You learn those three things, you save up some money, you can, like, make it. You can, like, legitimately do something on the side without needing to be the best at something, because it's all, as you said, after the pandemic, you just started learning about it. It was just knowledge.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that people can do, and it just takes time and discipline. And look, instead of listening to music or watching TV, research.
That's what I was doing over the weekend, dude. I was listening to like 17 guys talk about this shit all weekend.
Yeah, I mean, look, it makes a lot of sense, and there's some stocks that are probably a little better than other ones to do it with, but there's some dividend companies that, if you like income, you can really generate income doing this.
Yeah, I agree.
And there's some other ones that, if you want to go a little balls to the wall, you can generate some crazy premiums. I mean, PayPal's got some good premiums right now, and Palantir's got some great premiums right now.
What defines premium is the volatility of the stock. Like, what gives a stock really good premium?
Volatility and trends.
Okay.
I mean, TJ could. That's something I would really ask TJ, because he would understand that much better than me.
Or Matt Money. Matt in the chat knows.
Matt would probably.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen with Palantir, the options, when Palantir got into the low 20s, the option premiums became crazy.
Yeah, it became insane.
Just crazy.
Insane. Because people started buying all these fucking $40, $50 calls. And so,
The fact that I wrote calls at $40 for June, and I think I got like
6%, 7%, something like that.
41 cents on the 41 cents per share on the first set, and on the second set after the next move up, I got like 72 cents per share or something like that. I mean, it's just nuts how big the premiums are. It's all from implied volatility.
Yeah.
But hey, Google had nice data.
Yo, your Google article, you look like a prophet right now. Now, look, the reason Google's up is because of this stupid Apple partnership. It's not like it's anything like, like real yet, but it's up. So I'll give you that. It's up.
And the article tomorrow for Apple that's coming out, Apple's my dark horse.
Oh, I know you love Apple. Even though the Vision Pro is a dud, you're not going to admit it, but it is a dud. We know it's a dud.
No, this version of the Vision Pro.
Okay, so can you say this version of the Vision Pro is a dud and I was right? Because you and me had a debate about this, and it feels like I'm right.
This version of the Vision Pro is a proof of concept.
No. Okay, you can say that. I'll agree with you, but can you also say it's a dud?
I mean, I would not call it a dud.
Dude, it's a dud. It's a dud. Apple's going to fucking Gemini because they can't sell this Vision Pro. They left the car because they can't sell.
That's not why they're going to Gemini.
If they were selling 1,000 Vision Pro a day or a week, they would not care about Gemini right now. They need a Gen AI product and they don't have it.
But that has nothing to do with the Vision Pro.
Dude, it's not selling. Who's fucking buying? Everyone's returning it.
Nobody's gonna listen. The Vision Pro at $3,400 doesn't work. We all know that.
So the version 1 is a dud. That's okay. We can say that.
Version 1 is a proof of concept.
Now I know why you got promoted at work. You know how to talk this corporate bureaucratic shit. Now I know.
It's not a dud because it delivers. Now, if people buy it or not, that doesn't matter. Apple's plan, in my opinion, was put something out there that is going to blow everybody's socks off, even if they end up returning it.
It didn't blow anyone's socks off. See, that's the problem.
I think it did.
I mean, it did for like one MKBHD video. Then no one cared. That's my point.
But let's be real. Apple generated $97 billion of net income 2023.
That doesn't matter.
Just hold on.
They should. By the way, they should have invested in Bitcoin. They would be up $1 quadrillion right now if they did that.
Just hold on. They generated $97 billion in net income. They can afford for this to not sell off the shelves, as long as it's a proof of concept that gets everybody excited about a version that will eventually become a pair of sunglasses, because that's what it needs to be. It needs to be a pair of sunglasses. You wear glasses and I wear glasses. We wear glasses. At least I wear glasses for good probably 10 hours a day, if not longer. Okay? This needs to get to that point where it's a pair of Oakleys or a pair of Ray-Bans.
I think you're being idealistic on that. I think you're being idealistic.
It's got to be light on your face, and it's got to be comfortable.
Okay, but do you agree with me here that if Apple had taken the $80 billion they had in net income at the bottom of 2022, early 2023, and they bought just a couple billion of Bitcoin, don't you think that would have been a smart investment, dude? They would be sitting on like $5 billion of profits right now if they did that with a couple billion.
I mean, they could have done a lot of things. You could have said the same thing about them buying Tesla, but then if they had bought Tesla, would Tesla have even become Tesla? Because would they have stifled Musk or not? Who knows? And yes, you can look at it now and say, well, if they had bought Bitcoin, they would have been up a ton. Of course they would.
Well, the problem is I think Warren Buffett would have sold his stake if they invested in Bitcoin.
And I don't think that they should worry about what Warren Buffett does or not. They need to run their company no matter who the shareholders are.
He owns a lot of Apple, dude. They need to,
I get it. But how about this? And I think I had this conversation with you maybe one day. And I don't remember who it was. I would like to see Apple pause buybacks for 2 quarters.
I agree. I think they should too.
And they need to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. They need to buy Madison Square Garden, Madison Square Garden Sports Group. They need to buy Manchester United and go buy Atlanta Braves because they're a publicly traded company. And embed all that in Apple TV, take all those pieces off the chessboard, and freaking you will really see their services business blow up, because then you embed VR sport tickets in the Apple Vision Pro through Apple TV.
But Steve, my thing is the Gemini partnership means that I think they're running out of ideas in the short term.
No.
Like, why else would they give Google unlimited distribution to their fucking user base? Like, I mean, I don't You know what I mean? Like, you don't give Gemini away unless you're working on an LLM or something else.
Okay. And you just hit the nail on the head. Alphabet has been at this for so long. Is it more efficient to strike up a deal with Alphabet or for them to spend 40 or 50 billion trying to play catch up?
But my point is, why hasn't Apple been playing this game for 5 years? Why are they playing catch up even?
They were under the electric car fog for so long, and they just
that's my point. Seems like they're in trouble. It's a little tough right now in Apple.
Them getting in trouble and them striking up a partnership to advance instead of deploying the resources needed to try to catch up. Two different things.
I agree.
And this may be the best route for them to go in order to create a real AI assistant and to do a lot of other things. And I'm not saying that they wouldn't be able to do it on their own, but it would take them a lot of time and a lot of money. And this just may be the most efficient way to do it, which isn't a horrible thing. It depends what the deal is.
I think if Siri is powered by Gemini, it's going to be really exciting. And I do think the partnership will be good for both of them. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, it was huge news. I woke up at 4 a.m. and I saw that article and I was like, wow.
I mean, I think that people are going to be surprised, and you got to think that it's going to have to do with Siri. It's going to have to do with their AI products with iOS 18. There's a lot of things, but content is going to be key. We've already seen movie studios get rolled up. We've seen what Disney's done. We've seen Amazon purchase. I think they purchased Lionsgate or somebody. They purchased some studio. I mean, Netflix is making content. Warner Brothers Discovery has like a 20 billion market cap. Somebody needs to take that chess piece off the table and take all that content off of all these other freaking stations. You get so much with that product. You get HBO, Discovery, Food Network,
I agree.
TBS, Turner. Could you imagine if Apple bought them and threw all that content right into Apple TV?
They're too busy spending R&D on glasses that no one wants to wear. That's the problem.
Well, this is something that will boost that. I will tell you, you put this into Apple TV and you make the glasses where it's actual sunglasses instead of a freaking headset, I'll lay in bed and watch TV.
Steve, you would lay in bed and watch TV for the rest of your life if you could do that. That's not weird.
Laying on a couch and watching a huge TV and laying in bed and watching TV are two different things. Laying in bed is not comfortable to watch TV.
Yeah, it is.
It's just not.
You just put a pillow up and then there you go.
No, it's not freaking comfortable. Like,
you don't lay in bed and watch TV at night sometimes with your wife?
No.
Like, you don't.
No, I watch TV in my living room on my huge freaking TV.
But you have a TV in your bedroom, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so you have it. All right.
But it's not nearly as comfortable as being in the living room. Like, if you had glasses where you're just laying on your back and the TV is perfectly positioned in front of you and you can make it as big as you want.
Dude, that's not attractive to me at all. That feels like a mess, to be honest.
I mean, I guess it depends how you look at things. I mean, I am looking forward to this week for the NCAA tournament. And
why are you blowing up my Twitter telling me to talk about NCAA? No one cares about basketball.
Dude, what are you talking about? This is the greatest week of sports. It was Selection Sunday. You got the first 2 days of the tournament, Thursday, Friday.
Steve, we have Lululemon earnings on Thursday.
Who cares?
What? I care.
The NCAA tournament is bigger than earnings week.
I want to know who's paying $78 for a fucking t-shirt. I need to know. Maybe it's worth investing in. That's more exciting to me than
March freaking madness. You realize that Warren Buffett has a challenge. Anybody who can predict the bracket, he will give them $1 billion.
Yeah, I know. He's
always never happened.
Well, of course it's never happened, dude. The odds are like 1 quintillion to 1 to like get it right.
So, dude, oh my God, hold on. I'm going to send you a screenshot. I don't know if I want this set on air, but hold on. I want to hear your reaction.
Dude, it's so funny because I used to like the NCAA when I was like in high school, and now I could care less, dude. I just don't care.
Oh, dude, the NCAA is so amazing.
But again, with all sports, I don't get. I'll watch the final game. Like I watched the final like 10 minutes of the World Cup, and I was like, oh my God, Messi. But like, same thing with Super Bowl. But otherwise,
Look
I
at you
don't.
knowing a soccer player.
Yeah, I know Ronaldo and Messi and Neymar, and I know sports, dude. I know sport. I wish people saw me like 8 years ago. I was a sports junkie, but now I'm a finance junkie, and it's different.
Look at your text message.
You made the you did this?
How ridiculous is that payout?
Can I tell them what you did? I'm not gonna read it, but I can.
Yeah, I don't really care. So, so on Sunday night, I placed a bunch of bets, and I may have made a ridiculous one where the odds are like.
Wait, but you didn't make this money yet, right? No, you have to.
No, I probably have a better chance of winning the lotto than this bet.
So hold on, I'll just say you bet $55.
No. It's a $2 wager.
Oh, and if you're right, you're gonna win 21 million.
Yeah.
Yo, what if you win? What if you win? Holy crap!
Dude, if I win, I'm gonna be on every sports news channel about the 25 leg parlay from freaking. I don't even know what you call this. Just the most ridiculous thing.
Dude, that's better than a meme coin return right now. That's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, I got to win 25 games with the spreads.
Ah, spreads. Now my ears have perked up a little bit. You're talking about spreads here, huh? Now I'm excited. What do you say?
You got the point spreads.
By the way, I've been learning about put credit spreads as well. Dude, I've been learning a lot this weekend. I think I'm getting a little bit smarter about everything going on here. All right. Cool stuff. Thank you for joining.
What are you saying you learned about?
Put credit spreads.
Put credit spreads. Now you're going the opposite direction.
Yeah, but put credit spreads are actually safer than call debit spreads. It's actually.
I mean, I don't know that you can call them safe.
No. My point is like the maximum loss is it's your upfront investment, right? There's no actual like continual loss. Same thing with call debit spreads. Maximum loss is your investment, but it's just pointing to the downside. I don't fully understand them yet, but they're not exactly the same as call debit spreads. They're a little bit different because a put debit spread is the opposite of call debit spread. Put credit is you get a net credit, so you get premium for the spread versus paying it for it.
I'm aware. And by the way, everybody thought I was crazy with energy transfer. Everybody thought I was crazy.
What is the stock up? ET?
Yeah, it's at like 15.
What you liked it at like 5, right?
I think I've been telling you and Chris to seriously consider it since like 850 or 950. It was under 10 when I was telling you guys.
You got ET and you got MO. Those are two big ones that you got under your belt. I'll give you that. You got it.
I mean, people are like, when there is that much of a false narrative that just doesn't make sense, something's up. I mean, I'm sorry, we need freaking fossil fuels.
We need energy, baby. Drill, baby, drill. Drill. We need some energy.
And I got to tell you, I'm a little worried about Tesla at the moment.
See, this is what we need you on the podcast to talk about Tesla. But I mean, it had a good day, went up 5%, so not a bad.
Yeah, day. And look, I am in it not for the car business by any means, because that's not why I'm in it. I am in it for the bot, but I don't know, man. I've never been big on EVs, and I don't feel like I see a lot of EVs on the road.
Yeah, I mean, I see a bunch in Jersey. You're in New York, so it's a little different, I think. But all right.
Well, go watch The Color of Money. I think you'll like it. That or Pool Hole Junkies.
Okay, so your last recommendation, Heat, was not good.
Yeah, but we can't. Anybody who says they don't like Heat, we can't trust their.
No. Heat was boring, and then the other one with Al Pacino. What's that one called? What's that one called?
I can understand you not liking Scarface.
Scarface. Yeah, that shit was so bad, dude. Scarface and Heat.
I can understand that because it's a different era now, and I can understand how you may not like that. I get that. But not liking Heat is crazy.
Dude, I could barely get through 5 minutes of Heat. It was so fucking boring.
How about this? Go watch Casino.
Was that has George Clooney in it, right?
No, that's Ocean's 11, which is an amazing movie. It's one of my favorites.
Wait, who's in Casino? Who's the big guy in Casino?
Casino is Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, Sharon Stone.
1995 Casino movie.
Casino is such a classic.
Is it actually gambling and stuff? Will I enjoy like poker? Like, is it?
It's about how Vegas became Vegas and how it's real. It's a really good movie.
Joe Pesci.
It's really good. If you want to watch a gambling movie, I would watch The Color of Money or Casino. I will watch both.
Okay, I'll turn on the Casino tonight. Let's see if it keeps me awake before falling asleep. I've seen Training Day. Training Day is a classic. I've seen Training Day. I love that one.
You actually like Training Day?
Dude, Training Day with what's his name?
Denzel Washington.
Oh my God, I've watched it like 3 times. It's great. I love it.
I'm proud of you. I like it. Maybe one day you can watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I've seen that one too, dude. I just didn't know the meme where it was coming from, but I've seen the movie. I know Ferris.
Oh my God, you've seen it and didn't know the meme. I wish you never said that. I wish you didn't.
Steve tweeted some meme from the movie and I didn't know. Yo, what did you think of Oppenheimer winning Best Picture?
I didn't watch it, so I don't know.
It was so bad, dude. It was so bad.
Oppenheimer
was so bad.
Not something I'm interested. I don't think movies are nearly as good today as they were.
I agree. Movies suck today, dude, compared to like what has been the best blockbuster film besides Barbie and Oppenheimer in the past 2 years? It's nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I can't tell you the last new movie I've seen.
There's a Dumb Money, but that's a I watched that on Netflix, but like it's like there's.
I sped through it. I watched parts of it. Like there was just so much. I don't know. Oh, Molly's Game. You gotta watch Molly's Game too. Did you see that?
The drug, Molly?
No, Molly's Game. It's a true story about the poker princess who ran the biggest underground poker game in LA and New York.
Okay. Idris Elba, Jessica Chastain. Okay, Kevin Costner. All right.
The book is better, but they did an excellent job on the movie.
All right. I will watch. Sounds good. Thank you, Steve, for joining us for 46 minutes. So basically a second pod after the first pod.
Yeah, you woke me up.
You were sleeping?
Well, like I said to you, I was dozing off watching Succession. I was just relaxing, vegging out.
Okay. All right. Well,
my brain's been nonstop.
No, I know. I know the chat doesn't know about the intensity of the work you're doing, but it's heavy. Yeah. So I appreciate the time, and I know you're working hard. You got more big boy responsibilities now. So
I gotta do something.
All right, Steve. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We'll see you tomorrow on Finance.
Stay out of trouble in that.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Later.
Later.